Okay, I will call the meeting to order. It is now, I have 4:35. Okay, and we will do Jen's oath first. Jen, you will please stand. Is this, do I have one for her to sign here? You should have one.
I bet you to sign.
You need to sign both of these, but you're gonna repeat after me in just a minute what's on here, so you don't have to memorize it. I, Jennifer Yando,
I, Jennifer Yando,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of trustee of the Clinton Essex Franklin Library System
of the Clinton Essex Franklin Library System
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Okay, and you need to sign both of those and give them back to Brenda.
Yes, ma'am.
We once more have a full board, a full board of trustees. Which I know Tom got on me one time, but they said that you didn't, until I became the nomination chair, you didn't have a full lot, did you? I pull people out of the woodwork. But I do get a lot of help from a lot of my people, thank God. You want to hand that to,
Did I need to sign both? Just one?
yes, both.
Oh, I did.
You did only one? Okay. And she has to notarize it. Okay. Well, hi, Linda. We
Here.
should have, I didn't know you were coming to the, now I feel bad. I assumed you were going to do it from
Well,
home.
the original plan was to, are we on yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, right here.
Thanks, Michael.
You're welcome.
I would have called. I thought, I just didn't think.
Well, and I went around the block. I turned at Cornelia Street instead of Brinker Home.
Could have come
She just now signed.
So I
down
had
the
to go around the
driveway.
block again.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay. Welcome, Jen. Thank you. Okay, the roll call.
Abendroth. Bryant. Cassava. Crosby.
Here.
DeFance.
Here,
Drennan.
Here,
Fairchild. Here. Latta. Here. LePage.
Here. I don't- Maybe I'm not, I don't know.
Lamonto. Mandeville. McDonald. Roland.
Here,
Valencourt. Here. Yando. Here. And requests to be excused were received from Nikki Bryant, Andrew Lamonto, and Scott McDonald. And we have a quorum.
Good. Okay, now approval of the consent agenda, which is the approval of absences, the approval of June 27th, 2022 agenda, the approval of minutes of May 23rd, 2022 meeting, and the committees for which there are no reports at this time: advocacy, executive, finance, health plan, negotiating, nominating, personnel, and property. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda? Okay.
Latta, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, all carried. Okay, do we have any public? Okay, so there is no public comment period. Communications, do you have anything, Brenda?
I don't have anything, no.
Okay, and I don't have any. Maybe we should, okay, I'll take the other one. Okey doke, president's remarks. Okay, first, I'm handing this to Michael in front of all of you, so maybe it'll remind you if you haven't done your leadership campaign yet. The leadership campaign, we each try to give, it doesn't matter how much each year, as long as we would like to have 100% of people participate.
Board members.
Trustees,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
trustees, yes, trustees. So, like I said, now I'm off the list. Okay. The other thing on president's remarks, Brenda had sent us a note that Phyllis Magnus had died. She was on the board. I don't remember do you remember what years? She was on when I was on, I know that. She used to do from online most of the time.
She was from Saranac Lake,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I looked for an address, and I'm assuming this is right, 70 Edgewood Drive, Saranac Lake, New York. It's I kept finding that same one. I did bring a card that says our thoughts are with you at this sad time. Those of us here want to sign it, and then I'll mail it out to her. Okay, so I'll pass that around. And I'm just gonna put on here CFLS board. Trustees, and then you can just sign your name. Those of you that, she may not know, they won't know anybody that don't know we thought about that.
If we, I've not seen anything about a service or address or anything for her listed. I mean, she was a friend of mine, separate from the board.
Service, Dorothy, the service is Wednesday at 6:30 at the Presbyterian Church in Saranac Lake.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Is that the correct address that I just said, do you believe?
The Edgewood, I think that is her house. I
Okay.
believe that's her house. The Presbyterian Church is on Church Street, of all things.
Right, but the Edgewood Drive, if I send the card there, that would be.
I think the roads over
Tell me
there get a
address,
little,
she was a doctor, right? Was she a doctor?
she was a counselor.
Counselor, was a doctor of counseling, is what she was.
Okay.
Coming up.
The roads over there get a little weird, but I'm pretty sure that sounds right.
That's what I
I can
kept,
take
it's
you
the
to
only
her
one I
house.
found, and everything sounded accurate about her.
Yeah, I think if you send it to her home address.
Right,
the
and that's
mail,
what I just want,
You
yeah,
get forwarded, but
Yeah.
thank you.
so.
Thanks,
Edgewood Drive, Saranac Lake. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Liz. I had,
Okay.
because I've been trying to see when something was gonna
Okay.
be for her.
Okay.
Well, she was very active with the Unitarian Universalists,
Yes.
which I'm a member of, so I got the email. So that's the only way I heard about it. Otherwise, I never would have.
Okay, I mean, I looked for obituaries and whatever too, but I did get on as soon as Brenda sent it, and at least thought I stopped to get a card today, at least so we'd get a card out.
There was a very nice obituary last week. Very
Okay.
extensive
I'll look again then.
In-
just
in-
to find out.
in the Adirondack Daily Enterprise.
Okay, I'll write that down so I don't forget that. Okay, thank you, Liz.
You're welcome.
Enterprise. Okay. That's all I have. Plattsburgh Public Library report.
You all received my written report. I don't have anything to add to that at this time.
Would be just a few down, Jen. Okay, very good. Very good,
How's
thank you.
How's that new roof, Ann? Is it keeping the
Oh,
water
it's-
out?
Yeah, it's working really well, except the roof hatch opened itself over the weekend and it was open for that storm yesterday.
Oh, no.
Mm.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
That's-
so we put a lock on it today, but it's a little wet up there. But otherwise, the
Oh.
roof is good and we've got our driveway back. And thank you again to your staff, you and your staff, for accommodating the driveway being in use for several months.
And this is Dorothy, just to touch on something that you brought up either at last month's meeting or the month before about some middle school females. Is that still an issue for you, or is that pretty?
It might have been second.
No, I spoke with the city police and the school resource officer, and they, confirmed that there was a problem with these girls, and we banned them from the library for the rest of the school year. And they've been in trouble at least 2 or 3 times within the city that I've actually witnessed since then. So hopefully they'll get their act together this summer and they can come back in the fall. But they were quite a problem.
Oh, there's Tom.
Thank you. So it's not a disruption for your library any longer?
No, I have a 0 tolerance policy for people who are disruptive in the library, and we call the police when we need to, but otherwise we ban them, and we let the police know if they come, and they just aren't welcome back. You know, if they have mental health problems and they get some help, then I've had people come back and ask to be allowed back in the library. And that's great. You know, that's what we want to see. But we have too many people coming and going, and too many kids to, you know, small children, to allow that kind of behavior.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for the way you've managed that.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like
anything
to
else?
apologize for being late. I was mowing lawns, including the Champlain Memorial Library lawn, and I forgot to set my alarm. I wouldn't have heard it on the lawnmower anyway. But I'm here, so I
Glad you are.
apologize for being tardy.
You don't worry, you'll get your comeuppance somewhere.
I know.
Okay. Director's report, Steve.
I did send you a report in the packet. I should mention that we did have a candidate for our open clerk position. We did tender an offer. Eventually it was turned down. It was bad timing and not enough pay. And that was what shot it down. So we're back almost at square one. I haven't talked to Michael yet this week about whether that new list has come across or.
It is out there, but we have to wait until we get that third declination, which is from the candidate. And I will email her again and remind her that that is an important document that we need to have so we can get a new list.
Okay. We did have some other personnel moves. We've hired a substitute van driver. He's in training right now, shadowing our van drivers, so that he can learn the routes and the procedures and things. I've been out of the office now for a week, attending ALA. So I'm not completely up to date on where everything is. I've had a little correspondence with Michael. One of the things from last meeting, you'll remember I mentioned that we're going to need to do a new roof. Some people have read the memo. We didn't send it out to everybody yet because we just got it back today from the engineers. And they're estimating the cost of a new roof to be just over $1 million.
Oh,
And like I said, we haven't had a chance to meet and talk about that. But we do have that estimate and the specifications and things at this point. So we'll let, I just felt that I wanted to share the heartburn. That was a little bit higher than I was expecting.
This may be too early to ask this question. I did mention it to Michael. Is it something that we could wait until the prices come down, or is it mandatory? I mean, does it have to be done right now? Because most of the reason is the cost of materials, right?
Right. There are some things that would need to be done right now to make it so it's not leaking. The vegetation needs to be removed, and a few places where it needs to be sealed. And that's a minimum stopgap measure that would have to be done right away. That's what we've done for the last 2 or 3 years. And it seems to be getting worse each time it peaks. So we can put it off a little while, but if we do, we have no guarantee that the price is going to come down, or that it's not going to go up. It very well could continue an upward spiral.
So I have a couple, I apologize, I wasn't in front of a computer all day. But we had an engineering firm do this.
Yes,
Who's that engineering firm?
AEDA. Jim Abdallah.
Yeah, okay, I'm familiar with them. Have you had just a roofer come look at it?
I'm not sure when the last time we had a roofer look at it. We had that.
Gates
Yeah.
Roofing last week, and they were the ones that cleared the drains somewhat. So the drains could do their job because they were covered with moss and other vegetation. So Gates Roofing was up there. They did take a look at it, and I also put on Facebook for recommendations for, because they said either a roofing company can clear all the vegetation or a landscaper, or because some of those blocks up on the roof will have to be picked up because the roots are underneath them. So that's why I'm trying to get recommendations, because it's,
It needs to be done by someone who knows what they're doing, or else they're just gonna make it worse.
Yes,
agree.
but I know that engineering firm and they're used to dealing with state contracts.
Yeah,
So I'll tell you right now, that's high. I can tell
it
you
was
that.
much higher than we were expecting.
Well, it's
Like about 4 times.
yeah, because they're used to dealing with the state coming in and paying for it.
Yeah,
So it probably could be done at a half or less. And I can tell you from general experience, the price of materials is drastically reducing from, because I just did some construction myself, and just the prices are coming down. I know contractors, they're happy, and they're going to continue to come down.
good.
So I myself would look, Gates Roofing is a legitimate contractor. I know the Gates. You might
Right.
get them, and I could probably get names of a couple other legitimate roofing contractors to come in there and tell you what it really would cost, because A&E's giving you a state contract number.
So would our policy be for something this substantial, that we could put this out for bid? And I think is it 3 bids that we need to get for, things above a certain item?
A minimum.
Yes, so that we now have the evaluation from the engineering firm. They are not the people who would be doing the work. Is this something that could be put out for bid to get maybe an idea of what?
Well, that's one of the reasons that we employed the engineering firm, was to get specifications and such.
Yes,
And we can now use this report to get those other
yes.
quotes and bids. So, as Tom said, they're looking at it from a whole different angle than a roofer would. A roofer is going to look at it and say, this is what it's going to cost you.
Yes, but now that was a very good idea, because now we have a set of standard specifications from the engineering firm to use for putting it out to bid, as opposed to just having roofers come in and say, what would it cost? And they might be using different criteria.
Yep.
I would say assume it's gonna be double, like whatever you think it's gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And De La Chapelle has experience with a recent roofing in contracts, that yes.
Right, exactly.
Who did your roof, Ann?
Who
You're
did the,
muted.
Muted.
Sorry, a company called Monahan and Lachlan. They're part of the Green Point Roofing Company. I think they're out of Hudson Falls.
Okay,
So we did kind of what Steve did. We had AEDA come and just take all our drawings, put together the specs for us, which we then put out to bid. It's over, I think 39,000 has to be a public bid. We received 4 bid quotes on that project. It came in just at what we had in mind. I had spoken with roofers before this. We chose the low bid, and we were lucky because they already had all the materials in storage. So we did this last fall. We were first on their list this spring. They started in April. And AEDA, we hired them for another 35,000 to monitor this process. And it's been money well spent. There were all kinds of problems that were covered up the last time we did a roof. So, and I'm not climbing up and down the ladder every day to inspect the things. I have no knowledge of that. So I agree that $1 million, I mean, ours was $400,000. So we have, 5 roofs, and we have a lot more. I think it's more complicated. So, but I think getting that spec is what you really need, and that's what you're going to take advantage of with AEDA.
Right.
And
I also have some connections with Murnane. So I know I could get Murnane to give you a decent bid, knowing that it's a nonprofit. So I know their CFO.
Michael is going to take all the suggestions he can get, and we'll be putting this out to bid.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
I'll email Michael and
okay,
give him the contact at Murnane.
right. And we will forward this spec sheet, this bid. I don't know if it's a bid, it's a whatever it is, to the board by email today, so that you'll be able to take a look at what we're seeing. We apologize for not getting that out before the board, but we just got it today. So
The pictures are pretty substantial.
Well, I do think, this is Dorothy speaking, I do think that we should continue, as you're suggesting, Steve, with a new roof and not just try and patch it and, for the next few years, because, at some point you're putting good money at, if the evaluation shows that clearly a new roof is warranted, then I think that we probably need to take a look at that for a permanent solution.
I do too.
I agree, but I believe it's going to be substantially less than $1 million.
Right, well, I don't think, Tom, that I think that when we see this $1 million, this was the first step. Then now the specs are here, now we can put it out. for a
Right.
bid, For a lower bid, and that would be, we certainly aren't gonna take that million, we certainly, with that, but I think having the specs is good, and then we'll have to talk about whether we need them to oversee the project, and then see if that money's worth it, as Ann said it was for them.
Yeah, and we should reach out to the company that Ann had, because they're obviously know where we are. I can contact Murnane and then put it out on a general bid, and I
We
think
should
we'll
get at
do
least-
okay.
Yeah, I think we'll get at least 3 or 4, I
Well,
mean,
yeah, we can reach out to certain people, but it does need to go for public
oh,
bid.
for sure.
Yeah.
Right,
Monahan
they
does-
can bid, that's not illegal to reach out to people.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Monahan did our roof 25 years ago. Monahan and Laughlin did our roof. They were the
And I know
contractor.
Murnane does them.
Right. Well, we'll see what the bids, Michael will look things over, see what the bids come in,
They-
and put it to bid, and then go from there.
I agree to go ahead, because by the time you get the ball rolling, it's not like
Absolutely.
it's gonna happen. It's not like they're gonna be up there tomorrow fixing,
Right, right,
replacing the roof. It's gonna
Right.
take a while.
yes,
So
yes.
David, would this be something that potentially could be a candidate for construction grant, construction funding?
Yes, yeah, this could fall under construction. I mean, Ann can contest to that as well. But as the library system, we are limited to up to 50% of the cost of the project.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
It's fantastic.
So we'll probably more next meeting on this.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date on our information as we get it.
Thank
I'll
you very much.
contact Murnane this week and I'll forward all the stuff to Michael.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, and we have, and Michael's will send out the email this to everyone so that everyone can see. I have a copy. They're gonna send it to all the trustees, right?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
in color, beautiful color.
It is very beautiful. Nice pictures of a lot of debris up there. We could go have a picnic up there under the shade. Okay, anything else for Steve? Anyone? Anything from you, Steve?
No, that's what I had for you today. I
Enjoy
mean,
your
I've got
family.
more things with the open meeting law, but that's later in the agenda.
And if I don't say it again, enjoy your family when you're visiting.
Thank you.
Financial reports, Michael.
I put 2 financial reports, from February and March. The March one was just sent to you at the end of last week. So I am working on getting closer and getting everything done. What has helped a lot is, we did have a volunteer start. She's been working 1 to 2 days a week, 5 to 10 hours. And she picks up stuff very easily. And so, I've given her a task and, let her run with it. And, then I've checked it after and really there's not too many changes. So I believe that, having this person is gonna,
Help you.
help me a great deal.
So we have actually, we have February and March right now,
Yes.
right? Okay,
I've already started April.
okay,
And I'm also working on our annual report. I got 2 of the major sections done, the revenue and the expenditures. Now I gotta work on the breakdowns for each of the funding streams.
okay.
So I'm hoping to get that done soon. And we also have to do a invoice for $61,000 for the electronics we have purchased, the employees' time. And also we gave $5,000 to each of the 5 different libraries. They were participating in the senior planet one.
Mhm.
So I've also have to have that done by the end of the month, so that's mine.
Good job. Can I have a motion to approve the financial report? Thanks, Linda. Seconded by? Okay, all right. Any more questions for Michael? Everybody have a chance to look it over and any question from you Zoom people? Okay, then, but, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. I do not believe we have any committee reports. So looks like they were all said no reports at this time, so I guess we're all there. I think that's it. Just one thing that I will mention, those of you that are new to the board, if you would just look through the committees and decide, and for this year, maybe just try to decide on one that you'd like to serve on. You can ask me, and if I can't answer the questions via email, I will get to the office if you have any questions on what they are. I think yes, Lonnie.
Okay, well, a couple of, it must have been months ago, I and probably maybe other people, asked Brenda to let you know, we would like to know that I would like to know where I could be most helpful based on what I know and what I don't know. And so if you have recommendations, I'd be interested.
Okay, I will, I think that's in here because Brenda sent it to me. This is from a few times
It was a
ago.
while ago, I didn't
Yeah,
follow up.
I'll write myself a note and then I will get that to you. Check into committees for new members. Okay, for new trustees rather. And then I will get that list to you, and Brenda, if I can't find it, I'll ask you.
I think I have the list, but it didn't say.
It didn't say
what
where
the
we really need it.
qualifications-
Okay.
Yeah, where.
Look into committees for new trustees.
That was smart. I just picked the one I wanted. And that's what I want to do.
Yes, you did, I think.
Yes,
I
I
remember
did.
we added you to the list, yes. I mean, it's more important that you go to one that you feel comfortable with, that you know, you feel like you know, like if it's personnel or if it's something that you feel you know most about too, so. if there's
Oh,
something-
okay, yeah, yeah.
If there's
so-
something you're more comfortable with, then choose one of those.
Okay, sure.
We
sure.
can always use, use other people,
Okay,
so,
I'll take another look then.
okay, whichever, because I mean, I don't want to tell you where you're needed and have you not feel comfortable there. If there's something you feel you know something about,
Yeah,
I would think that'd be better, but, okay, so we'll be in touch on that. Okay, unfinished business. Steve, you again.
We've looked into offsite meeting, having our meetings at some of the member libraries around. We've set up a schedule of 3 of them for August, September, and October. They would be at Dannemora of Lake Placid and Malone. And so that's what we're proposing, is that those 3 meetings take place at those locations.
Okay, yes, that was kind of, I was pleased at that, okay? So,
Is anyone else gonna struggle? I think it might be okay, but I know I am at work until 3:20 and these places are probably an hour, so I think I can do it. But just heads up.
okay, yes, well, thank you for
And
saying
we
that.
also have room in the vehicle usually, if you want to ride.
Right.
If anyone needs a ride, to go to the meet.
From
these
here, yeah.
meetings.
Oh, I see, okay.
I was thinking this was video conferencing, Steve. Sorry about that. I could have dealt with this. I was a step ahead of myself.
No, these are the off-site meetings. that
Yes,
we've
I know,
done.
but I could have done it. I kind of turned it over to Steve, but I was thinking it was the video conferencing policy discussion. I was ahead of myself. Okay, yeah, I always enjoy it. So I guess we just basically have to figure out if, it's the same as any other meeting.
Mhm.
You just, you say if you can be there or not and whatever, and we have
Okay,
to,
I'm trying not to get a ticket.
and don't get a ticket, please. Okay, sounds good.
I think it's the same, going to the library.
Yeah.
and how many riders I won't be able to drive further than Dannemora for those later fall meetings.
Okay,
So I would need a ride from here.
That's fine.
okay,
Well, personally, just from years past, before the pandemic, I found it very meaningful to go to some of the individual libraries for a couple of reasons. Number one, you saw the library, but I think also importantly, we are very Plattsburgh centric
Yes.
because we meet here, but we are a tri-county library system, and this is one way of trying to demonstrate that.
This might not be totally related, but I did a personal project where I wanted to go visit all of them like one summer, and some of them were more friendly than others, so that was interesting to know. But I did wonder if it was worth doing some kind of passport program, like a kids program where you got a stamp at every library you visited to encourage like everyone
Right,
to
right,
utilize.
I mean, we discussed this last meeting. and
Oh,
it was-
sorry.
No, not for you. No, I'm just talking about the importance. No, that's a good idea. I'm
Okay,
not
okay.
saying- I'm kind of I'm back to Dorothy.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, we discussed this last meeting. We all feel it's very, very valuable
Yes,
to do
yes.
so. But you're right, that might be something.
I mean,
I mean,
it's like an equity issue where like some people don't drive and whatever, but it might be fun to encourage. Like I know I lived in my location for 3 years. Our closest library is Dannemora. I didn't know it existed for 3 years and we drove out here.
Yes,
So-
yes,
Oh.
yeah.
That might be kind of a fun, maybe that's an Anya, just a
Yeah,
You
something
know,
that we could do just to have people.
project or
do
something,
that,
like you
but-
said, little, a passport or something.
Right, that
To
might be
encourage
something to
people
look
to just
into.
go and see the different libraries, just like they go and see different fire stations or whatever.
Right, right. That would be, that's an excellent suggestion. See why it's nice to have new blood? Okay. And younger.
There's a lot of history in some of those buildings too.
Oh,
Sure.
yes.
Some of them
Yes,
were
there is.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yes,
Oh.
yes, they were.
Gorgeous settings and gorgeous buildings. and
absolutely.
A lot of history.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will be the next, so the next meeting is here. July and then August, September, October are at remote settings, okay. And you will respond as any other meeting, whether you can make it or not. Okay, here's the video conferencing, Steve.
Yeah, we knew we were gonna get to it.
it. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, there was some back and forth, and just to be clear, the governor did sign an extension of the emergency situation that allows us to meet by video for this month. It's set to expire in the middle of July. Whether it will be expanded or extended beyond then, we don't really know. But there has been a law passed about video conferencing that does allow board members to attend by video conference under certain circumstances. But to do that, we have to have two things in place. We need to have a policy and a resolution saying we're going to follow the policy. I have from the Committee on Open Government, who is the state department that controls these things, a model policy and resolution that would probably work well for us. It may be a little too robust, or it seemed that way for a small board or a small organization, but certainly it has been created to the specifications in the law. So what I propose is that I take that model policy and customize it with our names and addresses and things like that, and send it out with the July packet and have it ready to be discussed and passed at the next meeting.
I think that's a good idea. You know, I think it's better to have something to respond, you know,
To look at.
specific to respond to.
Yeah, we need to see the final draft of it before we approve it.
Absolutely.
I just didn't have the time to customize it at this point, but I can certainly do that before the next packet is sent out.
Okay.
Can you give us the Cliff Notes version of it?
The Cliff Notes version. It says that if you adopt the policy of video conferencing, members can, I'll read it here. Any public body which in its discretion wishes to permit its members to participate in meetings by video conferencing from private locations under extraordinary circumstances must establish written procedures governing member and public attendance. So I've attended 2 seminars on this, and they really stress this under extraordinary circumstances. They didn't define it in the law, so they kind of let the body define extraordinary circumstances. But the thing that they have made clear is that it's not for convenience. And so I think if we do accept this policy and we do create that, we need to be pretty clear about what our extraordinary circumstances are. They do give some examples of disability, illness, caregiving responsibilities, or other significant or unexpected factor or event. I could see a member in my position where I'm out of town during a board meeting and can join it by video conferencing. That might be extraordinary circumstances. There's some noticing laws that you have to put in. It has to be recorded, video recorded with a transcription. So it needs, we're trying that with this meeting today. We're trying the auto transcription part of it. This is
It's
to make,
working. It's working.
oh, good.
On the bottom of my screen, it works.
I just stopped.
Good, because that's one of the things is it has to be ADA compliant, and that's one of the ways that it checks. Otherwise, Zoom seems to fit all of the ADA requirement.
Because this is the first time I've been on a Zoom conference where I've seen this dialogue at the bottom, in fact.
It's something that the host can enable. My experience with Zoom meetings is the host can
Okay.
enable those
Well,
meetings.
it's the first time the host has enabled it when I've been on, because
So-
it's new to me.
You're welcome,
That-
Tom.
thanks,
Thank you very
You're very
much.
welcome.
David said you're welcome.
And
Yeah.
Steve, so, the policy would be dealing with being able to participate from your private setting. We
Right,
still would be able to use our pre-pandemic policy where we had a couple of public spaces available that
yes,
somebody.
we can do that.
Yeah, so that's different, yes.
That is different. Some of the other requirements for the new situation are that where the meeting is being physically hosted, there has to be a majority. So you have to have a quorum in the physical location before you can count those that are video conferencing in. But if you do meet that, then all the members that are conferencing in, their votes count and everything's copacetic with them. If you're set this up, your public has to be allowed to video conference in if they want.
Mhm.
So that's not a problem. We just publicize the link with our noticing, and that takes care of that. So anyway, it's a 4-page document.
It sounds like it covers most everything.
It does. Like I said, it's from the Committee on Open Government. And it was
Now that-
meant to interpret that law and comply with it completely.
And I think
Well,
we
thank
have.
you, Steve. I look forward to reading your modified version.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to go to the workshops and to, try to find out what, how other people are working with this and asking those questions for us. Appreciate it.
I only have one quick question and then I'll ask if anybody has any more. We don't, since the ruling is gonna be mid-July, that the governor is ending this, we aren't gonna be in any problems with that by not having a policy in place now?
No, today is under the old policy of the emergency pandemic declaration. And so we're fine today. We
What
We
about
may
the
not be
July?
next month. We may have to have a quorum present at the meeting in order to do this. Nobody's going to come and yell at you for your first month being iffy.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was going to be okay. Does
Yeah.
anyone have any other questions on this or any comments?
So we'll discuss policy more specifically next month. when we
He
have
is
the
going
draft.
to
Yeah.
make the draft, yes. And is that clear to everybody? That we will have the draft for next meeting to look over and then we'll see you know, if we're gonna approve it then, or whether we've got to make amendments to it. or-
Right, but for next month, if there were people who wanted to attend our approved public offsite stations as we did pre-pandemic, that would still be acceptable, correct?
Right, we can set those up.
Okay,
Right, yes. Okay, is there any other new business? Nothing, yes,
I
Linda.
had a question about the project that Anya's working on, Gia Junka. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but, and this is an art project that she applied for grants for, $4,000 and $6,000 in Clinton and then in Essex and Franklin County. That's on page 18. Will we receive more information about this and some advance notice? And would trustees be welcome to attend some of these events? I'd be interested in going. Or is it maybe just in in your own local library when something happens with this event?
Trustees are always invited to any of our programs,
I could
and
say that.
and we would love to have you come and be there. This particular project is tied to the tobacco settlement. And there are some limitations on what you can do and what you can spend the money on, but what she has described in here fits into their recommendation. So
What's in the
Anya,
work, we'll receive some notice about dates.
right, we'll need to make sure that you get told.
Okay, thanks. That would be nice to go to something like that.
Yes.
And thank Anya and Juliet for working on that, and whoever else
Right.
is working on it, so.
and I'm sure if you just send an email to Anya, she'd be happy to give you.
Yeah, maybe, I'm
details as well.
assuming this is just being planned now, maybe,
Right.
and
Right.
we'll be finished soon.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
anyone else have anything else? Then we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
I love the cats, Liz.